welcome to Wonderplay. Today we are going to do a very chatty review and flip through of the Wildwood Tarot, wherein wisdom resides, by Mark Ryan and John Matthews, and illustrated by the illustrious Will Worthington, who I didn't realize I had 2 decks illustrated by him, and let's be real, I'm gonna end up with more. But he also illustrated the Druidcraft tarot deck, which was the first tarot deck that I bought for myself, and very much I was attracted to it because of his gorgeous art style. And once again, we're having that gorgeous art style again here. Now, I love the size of this box. It's beautiful, but obviously this isn't a box that you're gonna wanna carry around. I will say that getting into it, come on, ooh, a little more difficult than I would like, because I think I've been spoiled by the magnetic closure boxes, but I mean, it's fine. So that being said, I always say that. Ooh, sorry, Helena. Ooh, that was almost real bad. We're always in danger of burning the house down. We try to minimize that danger. I keep the cards in a bag that I made because it's just easier to get to them. You'll see even further why this box is difficult. But we'll look at the guidebook first. Ooh, wonderful guidebook. Absolutely chock full of information. It's beautiful. In fact, I probably at some point will have to do like a little bit of a book review video on the book itself. Now, being that this deck was made by the Matthews, or one of the Matthews and those associated, this isn't a book that you would use for research. There are true things in here. There are also UPGs, unverified personal gnosis, and conjectures. So if you read like a fact stating something about, per se, Rhiannon, just know that we might only have little bits and bobs and dribs and drabs of research about that. So always do your research before you fully accept something as a fact. Now, I love when people go wiling off with lore, and for my spiritual practice, if a concept speaks to me on a deep heart level, I'm gonna entertain it and I'm gonna work with it. But I still like to stay I want to see what we actually have in the archaeology, in the research, whatnot. So, you know, this guidebook filled to the brim with wonderful stuff. I mean, number one, the major arcana, their Fool's Journey also corresponds with the Wheel of the Year, which of course is a modern invention. We know this, or we should know this, but there are echoes of ancient things throughout that. So approach this deck with a heart that is opened, but a mind that is critical, if that makes sense. I love it. It speaks to me. It helps to guide me. But I'm also aware that we're going to get a mixture of fact and fancy, but there is place for both. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And here we see another thing with this box. Woo! Yeah, this box is, bless it, it's so awkward. This is awkward. It's so awkward because split the deck twice and trying to get it out. It's just not that. It's just not it. But that's fine because it's an issue that is very simply dealt with in, you know, put them in a bag or a different box. It's fine. And I'm keeping the box because I love it. I just don't love having to open it when I'm doing readings and try to scrape the cards out. So let's get into it. Make sure I have, yeah, perfect. Beautiful backs. I wish it wasn't glossy finish, but that's all right. Cardstock is pretty decently thick, so very few gripes. I don't mind borders. These borders are a little bit big, but I am terrified of trimming it after what happened when I trimmed my Druidcraft Tarot and made it almost impossible to shuffle. As is, the size of these cards is fantastic for shuffling. They have a good slip to them, and they do shuffle, so that's fine. Borders are all right. There's our Fool, who they call the Wanderer. So sweet and beautiful. And now, there's a lot of discourse around using the term shaman, although it is difficult to discuss the things associated with it because there aren't a lot of terms for it. But I will, once again, since we are holding something that uses that term, which there's a lot of discourse around, I will link to the Norse Witch, who does a really good video about that. But this shaman as the magician, oof, love it, love it, love it. When I first got this deck, the second I opened it, like, I felt the energy. It connected with me so quickly. Like, I didn't even have to try to connect to this deck. It just opened itself to me. And I've had some of the first readings that I performed for others were with this deck. And oh, see, there we go. We have Ellen of the Ways. I know there's a lot of, I'm gonna have to keep saying this. Ooh, the discourse around Ellen of the Ways. But I believe in apotheosis. It's fine. I'm not trying to please everybody. But when I got this deck specifically to use with Ellen, who is one of my deities. And I did not realize that she was present in the deck. So that brought me to tears. The emotions that this deck stirs up in me are so special. It feels fated, and it's funny because I spent like a long time not getting this deck. I would look at it, feel called to it, and then just kind of brushed it aside. But the second that I got it, which I was kind of circumstantially put into a position where I needed to get it, in that my heart had connected. There's a deck that my brother got me that you can't purchase in the UK, which is where I live now, and he lives in the States. And I had sort of decided with Ellen that it was going to be a deck that I used to connect with her. And previous to that, during the Yuletime season, I connect with Ellen with the Christopher Hughes's deck that came out, I think it came out last year, which was the Yuletide Tarot. But obviously, shifting into a new season out of the Yuletide, I wanted another deck that was more year-round for me to use with Ellen. And I had thought that I was going to use the Brady Tarot that my brother has for me, but I wasn't able to gain access to that yet. So this was the second choice, but I now see it was not the second choice because it opened up entirely new vistas for me in my practice. in my connection with Ellen, and also in the way in which I conduct readings and divination. So, yes, the universe, the synchronicities, the things, it always works out. I mean, I also know that I'm going to connect with the Brady Tarot because my brother uses it to do readings for me over video messenger, because that is that's how my life works now. Most of my connections don't live close to me now, so I use the magic mirror, my phone camera, to communicate with them, and I'm very grateful for that technology. Oh, look at that. This deck is not, it's not using a Rider-Waite-Smith system entirely. It's inspired by it, but there are several cards that are different. So like you'll see here, like the Great Bear. You can't just use knowledge of like a basic tarot system to use it. They have some reinterpretations, a lot of which are so holistic and soul stirring, if I might put it that way. But the meanings change and there's some new correspondences. So this deck is an adventure into itself. You're going into the wildwood. You are going into the wildwood. So this here, the suit of arrows, is sort of the suit of swords. It's air. And you'll see that I might use the words sort of a lot here, but just so, Will Worthington, sir, your paintings, I can't. They're so good. I love them. We also have a lot of like archaeological and historical symbolism in here. So like things that are actual locations within Europe and the UK popping up, which is so beautiful. And I 100% encourage you, if you're utilizing this deck and if you're coming across these images, study it. You can get lost. You can get lost in the archaeology and you can get lost in the lore. And I mean, at least for someone like me, that is the most fun I can have on an evening. Just lose myself being like, oh, Neolithic site. This is my life now. This is all I can think about for the next few days. You know. Oh, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, just gorgeous. Oh, yeah. I feel that. It just really connects so deep. This is a card that I have been pulling so much recently. This Nine of Arrows. And I'll admit, it's made me cry. It's really very much the energy that I'm in at this moment. And more than likely, I noticed this. Once I've started having a card pop up and pop up and pop up, they kind of start popping up in every reading. So more than likely, I'll bet my bottom dollar that one's going to pop up at some point in the reading I do later today for the full moon in Libra, the worm moon. You better believe I'm excited about a worm moon. I mean, I know it's not actually earthworms. It's about other worms. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to relook at that factoid before I do that. But yeah, you know me and the slimy babies. Oh yes, we're in bows, and bows, I believe, are wands. Got our adders going. Oh, yes. Once again, this is a thing. I want to live in these cards. I mean, just look at that. Look at that. I also enjoy, it's nice having a little extra word here of description. That's nice, especially when you're just first starting off out with this deck, because you're kind of popping into it and you're like, okay, this isn't what I'm used to. If you're used to the, ooh, sorry, Helena, used to the general layout of like the most common tarot decks, it's nice to have a little helping hand, because I will admit to being confused between the bows and the arrow suits. Yep, always gotta have the dinglings. This is a very ancient Neolithic dingling. We're here for it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. This deck, I can't keep my hands off it. I cannot keep my hands off it. I can't keep my heart off it. It speaks. And I also quite enjoy some of the spreads that they have in the book for you to use. They're really cool. They're complicated, but they're fantastic. Vessels. Now, vessels is nice because vessels is deeply apparent, and it's like, oh yeah, cups. Vessels, cups, water. So that's nice. That's nice. Ooh, we got an eel. It's a slimy boy. We know I love the slimies. We love the salmons. The salmon they need to breed. They need to thrive. I just want to sit on the edge of this pool here with this deer and swan and just take this in. Oh yeah. Yes, 100%. So ecstatic and delightful. Oh yes, the Four of Vessels, the Four of Cups, so hashtag relatable. This one, oh, this is also one that I've pulled a lot recently. And I appreciate, like, it's Five of Cups, but its meaning and correspondences are entirely different from the Five of Cups. And this, like, this is my heart. This is me during ritual. Like, I feel this. Anytime I pull this one, I'm just like, oh yes, that's the space. That's where I want to be. Like, that's what I raise my energies for, is to be in this mode here. And I love it. And that's another one that I would love to have on my wall. We love it. See, it's the Seven of Vessels here. So like, it's kind of like the Seven of Cups. It's almost like, no, not that it switched with the Five. This feels more like a Five of Cups meaning, but not. But yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say about that. But yeah, so this is very different from like what these Seven of Cups is, because obviously the Seven of Cups, we have like this dreamscape, all of these options presented, an illusion. And this is more mourning, sadness, loss, dealing with that, which is usually Five of Cups situation, but it's a little bit different flavor. So I enjoy that a lot. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh yeah, that's different as well. It's rebirth. Your Eight of Cups is generally that walking away from something, which is a rebirth in a way, but this kind of pushes into that regenerative rebirth mode a bit more focally. Yes, don't we all want to feel that? Feeling like that takes a lot of work and meditation, but it is possible. It's possible. Yes, happiness. I'm always here for a card that just tells me about happiness. Now we're in the Suit of Stones, which is Pentacles. my earthy earth suit, because yes, I am triple earth. I am my main three earth. Earth sun, earth moon, earth rising, earth, earth, earth. And with this deck, as with all other decks I've touched, when I'm reading for myself, I am pulling up those earth cards, which confused me until I realized, oh yeah, that's because I am the earth. I am earth, baby. Love this, love this. Oh yes. We want this and we love it. Stones. Love this card, this creativity. Oof, that speaks to me. On the Four of Stones, protection. Just look at that sweet baby in the standing stones. Sometimes you just need to pull a card like that. And this Five of Stones, much like the Five of Pentacles is kind of, you know, you have the people who are kind of disadvantaged, disabled, without a home, walking past a church that they either can't go into. Like, there's a lot in that one, and this is very different because this child is cut off from what they need, but they're enduring. And so once again, the flavor of the meaning of this card changes. And I know that there have been several times in my life where I have been this child. And it's just such a beautiful image. It's so full of love. There's a lot less, I don't know. The Five of Pentacles kind of feels heartbreaking and condemning, but you don't really feel a sense of there, at least I don't feel a sense of there being a way out. There's less hope, but here there is hope. This child is using what's available to them, and they're going to continue on. I don't know how to express that, but yeah, once again, a different flavor to meanings here. The Six of Stones, exploitation. I appreciate this deck does a lot of focusing on how we need to take care of the earth and the issues of climate change as well. That's very much in the text. And this card very much shows that. Once again, a different flavor from the Rider-Waite-Smith system, which the Six of Pentacles shows a wealthy man just sort of like, oh, I deign to give you a bit of things. Oh, there you go. Yes, I'm so wonderful. I give a little bit of charity. Whereas this is like, no, humanity. I mean, it's not these two people's fault precisely, but it is humanity's fault as a whole that they have done such terrible things to the land. They've mismanaged it, they've overused, they've done bad things to the planet, and therefore we're put in a state where the planet can't give anymore. It's been hurt, it's been broken, and it's our fault. So that, you know, a very beautiful, dramatic image of that. So once again, a little bit different flavor, but oh yeah, well, not a little bit, a lot bit, but I love it. Oh yes. Love this, love this, love this. Archaeology, baby. Cave paintings. We love to see it. Aw, yeah. I love it so much. Oh, and here we go. Home. Home. Beautiful. So thank you for joining me on this very chatty flip through. I am about to get ready to do my full moon in Libra, worm full moon reading video situation. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.